The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, let's talk about what is the greatest streak currently in all of professional sports. This is the greatest streak sports has seen since The Undertaker was going undefeated at WrestleMania. Do y'all remember that? Do y'all from our wrestling fans out there? Do y'all remember when the Undertaker was just whooping everybody at WrestleMania for like almost 2 decades, tombstoning the shit out of everybody? I mean, this knockout streak that Edgar Berlanga is on that level to me. It's damn good. You know, we talk about Edgar Berlanga. We're talking about 16 fights, 16 knockouts, all in the first round. Unprecedented stuff happening in the sport of boxing for Edgar Berlanga. And he's back in action. Later on this month, May 24th, he'll be out over there in Kissimmee, which is where a bunch of Puerto Ricans are in Florida. I don't know why, but for some reason, there's a lot of Puerto Ricans in the Kissimmee area. So shout out to Kissimmee. Shout out to all my Boricuas in Kissimmee. But he'll be fighting on the undercard of Emmanuel Navarrete versus Christopher Pitufo Diaz. And he'll be taking on a good veteran fighter, another good veteran fighter, a guy that I believe is another slight step up from Ulysses Sierra. And that comes in the form of 23-1 veteran fighter coming to you from Maryland, Desmond Nicholson. Yes, that Desmond Nicholson. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with that Desmond Nicholson, let me educate you on who he is, and we'll talk about whether or not we think Berlanga will knock him out in the first round and keep the streak going. Now, Desmond Nicholson is a good, solid professional fighter. He's got a couple of quality wins on 168. His most notable win, from what I could see, his two most notable wins. He got one early. He got a notable win early in his career against the tough journeyman Milton Nunez, knocked him out. And then his most notable win came in his last fight, actually, against the very durable, very game, very credible Mike Guy. He won a close split decision against Mike Guy. So a good fighter, and he's a guy that in his career, he's been knocked out twice. He got knocked out against Jesse Hart. He was an opponent for Jesse Hart when Jesse Hart had was building himself up back to the Gilberto Ramirez rematch. And they fought for the NABF title at 168, and he got stopped that fight. But if you look at his fights, right? If you look at Desmond Nicholson when he loses these fights, when he fought Jesse Hart, he got knocked out in 7 rounds. So he went some rounds with Jesse Hart. And then early in his career, when he fought a fighter by the name of Lacan Byfield or whatever, he got knocked out in 6 rounds. So he's getting knocked out 6 rounds, 7 rounds, and he's going rounds before he gets knocked out. He even went 12 rounds or 8 rounds with Steve Rolls, and went the distance with Steve Rolls, who many of us know fought Golovkin. Good technical, solid technical fighter. He had a majority draw with Emmanuel Ali, another fighter who had that great fight with Evgen Kaitrov a couple years ago, a solid fighter as well. So this guy is solid. This guy is not a bum. This guy is not trash. People who don't know boxing will say he's trash, but he's not trash at all. He's definitely not the kind of guy that you stop in the first round. He's no world beater. He's not gonna be winning any world titles anytime soon. But he's not the kind of guy that you stop in the first round. So if Berlanga could extend the streak to 17 first-round knockouts in a row against Desmond Nicholson, oh my God, I would lose it. I would absolutely lose it, because if you look at Berlanga's last couple of fights, they've all been gradual step-ups. He like, for example, he fought Eric Moon. Moon is another guy, very tough, solid fighter that had never been knocked out in his career to that point. Knocked him out. Linnell K.O. Bellows, at the time he fought him, he was a guy who had over about 30 fights in the professional ranks. Been in there with, all kinds of fighters. Knocked him out in a round with one of his easiest fights. First guy to stop him. Then he fights Ulysses Sierra, a guy that in Sierra who has been in camp with top fighters like Andre Ward and I think Canelo as well. And never in his entire career had Ulysses Sierra been knocked out and he got knocked out in the first round. And the fight right before Sierra got knocked out against Berlanga, he fought the very solid prospect at 168, Vladimir Shishkishin, and went 10 rounds with Vladimir Shishkishin. And Vladimir Shishkishin, if you guys don't know who he is, he can punch a little bit himself. He's 12-0 with 7 knockouts right now, and he's a good fighter, Shishkishin. Not somebody to look, not somebody that's gonna be playing around with you, and you don't go 10 rounds with him if you're not at least a little bit durable. So Sierra's durable, and Berlanga knocked him down. What was it, 3 times? 3 times in that fight. So Berlanga, every fight he exceeds expectations. He shows this amazing boxer puncher style where he's coming forward and he's mowing you down, and he's setting up these knockouts in such a beautiful and scientific way. You know, he's not just going there mowing guys down. He's doing it in a very educated way. So, you know, it's another step up for him. Can he do it? I'm gonna say what I say every fight. I'm gonna say no, he doesn't do it. He doesn't get Nicholson out in the first round of this fight, because I think Nicholson's just too durable. Nicholson knows his way around that ring, but so do the other guys. So my thing is this: if Nicholson has any chinks in that punch resistance, it'll be found out in the first round. I think he'll get out the first round, but I'll say he doesn't get out the third round. I think Berlanga knocks him out within 3 rounds. I'll say he knocks him out in the third round, and he's the guy that breaks the streak of Berlanga. But I'm hoping, for Berlanga's sake, I'm hoping that he can get some rounds in, because he needs a fight where he goes 7, 8, 9 rounds. What is this fight even scheduled for? This fight scheduled for what? What is this fight scheduled for? This fight scheduled for 8 rounds. So Berlanga could use 8 rounds. So I'm hoping Nicholson is the kind of guy that can take him 8 rounds. But I have my doubts whether or not he can even get past the third. I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked out of my mind if he gets to the 5th round, because I don't see him being able to get to the 5th round. But him getting out of the first, I think he will get out the first, and he will end the greatest streak of anything we've seen in sports since the Undertaker at WrestleMania. You know, so let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think Desmond Nicholson will be the one to get out the first round, Berlanga, or does the streak continue? Because I'll tell you this, man, Berlanga's first round knockout streak is becoming one of the most interesting things in boxing. You know, I always talk about when you're a young fighter and you're on these undercards that you always want to be a name and a guy that people, when they see your name on a card, they're eager to watch you fight, because there's so many fighters in boxing. There's so many fighters in boxing vying for our attention. You got to really stand out. And Berlanga stands out. Berlanga has made it a point to stand out so much on these undercards that I don't even care about the main event. To me, this is the main event. Seeing if he can continue the streak is the main event. And he has kind of like this whole Mike Tyson factor going on, to where, like, you can't go get popcorn. You can't go to the bathroom when this first round starts, because you'll miss the fight. And you're always looking to see what he's going to do next. You don't even care who he's fighting. You just want to see who he's fighting next. And I think when you get a fighter like that, and who's doing those kind of things, it's great for boxing. It's great for the health of the sport, and it's great for just Puerto Rican boxing as well, because he's trying to fill those shoes of being the next Puerto Rican star. So, yeah, man, that's my little synopsis on Edgar Berlanga against Desmond Nicholson. Save the date, April 24th, Kissimmee, Florida, on the undercard of Emmanuel Navarrete versus Christopher Pitufo Diaz. Let me know what you guys think. Is Desmond Nicholson the one to get out the first round? Let me know in the comments, yes or no. Make sure you take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just giving Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.